good morning, good afternoon, or even good evening, depending on the time you happen to be with this video. Hello everyone, this is me, Chandra Prabhat. You are again joining English with Chandra Prabhat YouTube channel. In today's video, I thought to conduct a speaking session so you would be motivated by hearing my speech. අද දිනේ මම ටිකක් හිතුවා කතා කරන්න මෙතනින් එහාට පැයක වගේ කාලයක් කතා කරනවා. එතකොට මේ පැයක කාලය තුලදී මට අවශ්‍ය කරන්නේ ඔයාලව දිරිගන්වන්න ඉංග්‍රීසියෙන් කතා කරන්න පුළුවන්. මේ කතා කරගෙන යද්දී පොඩි පොඩි වැරදීම් සිද්ධ වේ. ඔයාලට පුළුවන් නිරීක්ෂණය කරන්න. එහෙම ඒව සාමාන්‍ය කතාව සිද්ධ වෙන දෙයක්. ඒ වගේම මතක් කරන්න මේ කතාව අතරතුරදී කිසිම cut and edit එකක් නැහැ. එක flow එකට යන එකක් තියෙන්නේ. ඒක නිසා ඔයාලට අවබෝධ කරගන්න පුළුවන් වෙයි ඇත්ත ජීවිතයේ පේන කතාව සහ රියල් කතාව කොයි වගේද කියලා. මේ කතාවෙන් මට ඔයාලට පෙන්වන්න ඕන එක දෙයක් තමයි පෙන්වන්න ඕන දේ තමයි කතා කරන්න ඕන වරදිනවා ඔයාලව මොටිවේට් කරන්නයි. ඒතර කතා කරන්න අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම ඔයාලට වාක්‍ය තියෙන්න ඕන. වාක්‍ය ගොඩනැගීමේ හැකියාව තියෙන්න ඕන. එහෙම නැත්නම් තමයි කතා කරගෙන යන්න පුළුවන් වෙන්නේ. ඒ වගේම මේක වෙලාවක් කරගන්නවා. මගේ YouTube වීඩියෝස් නරඹන සියලුම සමාජිකයන්ට මගේ ඔන්ලයින් පාඨමාලාවට සම්බන්ධ වෙන්න කියලා ඔයාලට ආරාධනා කරන්නේ. ඒක මුල ඉඳලා පිළිවෙලට ඉතාමත් ගැඹුරු ඕනෑම අදහසක් තනියම නිර්මාණය කරගන්න උගන්වන පාඨමාලාවක් නිසා පාඨමාලා පුරාවටම ඔයාලට පුරුදු කරවන්නේ මුල ඉඳලා ඉතාමත් සංකීර්ණ ඕනෑම වාක්‍යයක් නිර්මාණය කර ගැනීමට. ඒක ඇත්තද කියලා ඔයාලට බලන්න පුළුවන් ෆස්ට් ඩේ ෆ්‍රී සෙමිනාර් එකට සම්බන්ධ වෙන ඔයාලා හැමෝම අනිවාර්යයෙන් 30 වෙනිදා බදාදා රෑ 8:30ට ඔයාලට පුළුවන් ජොයින් වෙන්න මේ ෆස්ට් ඩේ ෆ්‍රී සෙමිනාර් එකට. ලින්ක් එකක් තියෙනවා ඩෙස්ක්‍රිප්ෂන් බොක්ස් එකේ. ඒ වගේම ෆස්ට් කමෙන්ට් එකේ. එහෙම නැත්නම් තිරේ දිසන මෙන්න මේ අංකෙට WhatsApp කරන්න sentence building කියලා. මම කැමති ඔයාලට මේ පාඨමාලාව හරහා ඉංග්‍රීසි භාෂාවේ සමස්තය තනියම සමස්තය හරහා තනියම ඕනෑම අදහසක් නිර්මාණය කරගන්න පුළුවන් සමාජිකයෙක් බිහි කරන්න. ඒක නිසා හැමෝටම ආරාධනා කරන අනිවාර්යෙන් ෆස්ට් ඩේ ප්‍රී සෙමිනාර් සම්බන්ධ වෙලා බලන්න. අවංකවම ඔයාලට ඕනෑම වාක්‍යයක් තනියම ගොඩනගා ගන්න පුළුවන්ද කියලා. Right, today I thought to talk about the problems in family life. It's quite obvious at the starting point of a family life, there are only two parties, husband and wife. After that, they have children, and sometimes their children might be living in that home with them as well. So I'm not going to talk it now. Let's start. Problems. What is the meaning of the term problems? It is something that restricts you moving forward when you try to do something which is really effective, which is very successful, your future, and the problem is going to restrict that success, that development in your family life. So problem is a reluctant in our life. So now we think about what are the problems of a family life. Sometimes the main problem can be lack of money, because everybody because we all want to have a financial security. We want lots of money to spend a wonderful and luxurious life. If you don't get that sufficient amount of money, it's really like to be broken your family relationship. So the first and the foremost requirement of a family life is having a sufficient amount of money. If you don't have that sufficient amount of money, you have to strive harder day by day to get that amount of money. You have to, it's obvious that you have to build your own dream house, and to have a vehicle, to have luxury appliances to your house, and to have a beautiful garden if you're lucky enough, and sometimes for donations, for sacrifications, and sometimes for charity as well. You might be a Buddhist or Christian or Hindu or anyone. You have religious background and cultural backgrounds as well. So you always have to earn money for various purposes. So that's primary. If you don't have sufficient amount of money with your job, then problem arise. Then you have to start another business or think about business ideas. Then your time, your valuable time. Everybody has 24 hours for a day except sleeping for 8 hours for a healthy life. You only have 14 hours for a day for the relationship of with the family members and with your society and for your entertainment and earning and living with your family members. For all of them, you only have 16 hours. Though you live 60 years, you only have 16 hours for a day. That's very crucial. Many people don't think that. Mm. The past is past. The future is in the future. So presently, today you have this day. So you have only approximately 16 hours for a day to spend your life to solve problems. Just think about, is there a time when we don't have any sort of problem? Hmm? The question was, is there a time that we don't have any sort of problem? When you designing a new project, you are thinking, what will happen in the future? Will this bring benefits to me? Or will it be a failure? Every time your mind is always asking questions. Will it be successful? What are the problems? Will it fail? Always problems. That's the nature of life, not only in family lives, but also in other areas. In every type of our life, we have problems. So gradually we will move with this topic, the problems of a family life. So the first thing, we have talked a little bit and we have identified not having sufficient amount of money with us. So when you visit the grocery store and then you see various food items, products that are provided, sometimes they might have some offers, discounts, some free sachet issuance. So you and your wife visit the grocery store, and sometimes, not all, sometimes your wife or husband have many feelings towards buying lots of goods, lots of things and desires have. But when you think of your pocket, uh, it will not be interesting to think about all those buying abilities. So problem arises. So we have to limit our life, limit our choices, desires according to the amount of money that people have. So if people have a lot of money, do they really enjoy their life without having problems? Huh? That's debatable and that's questionable. Imagine you don't have any money, you have zero money, and now you have thousand money. Thousand is not money, 1,000 rupees. So you have money. Don't you have problems? Hmm? Imagine you have 1 lakh and you are trying to make more money and you are trying to invest. You are thinking the interest percentage of this bank and this bank. What would happen if I invest in this plantation? That would give me a big profit, big share of profit. So every time thinking means making problems. The problems in a family life is the first reason I really understand is not having sufficient amount of money, but it's a mental constraint. Mental constraint. If you think that This amount of money is sufficient, but I work really hard. I work really hard to achieve something, but I am satisfied with this amount of money. First of all, I must say my speech might not be really interesting if I have the ability to make some interest, meaningful interest into this speech. I would be a wonderful speaker, but unfortunately, I know I only have the ability to communicate and not get the engagement of the audience because the audience is not visible. I'm not speaking in front of a live audience. This is speaking just in front of the laptop, and the only audience that I am seeing is myself. So it's quite difficult to make an engaging conversation or engaging speech when we are doing YouTube videos. So I'm really sorry for that, not having a really interesting speech with this. All right. There might be more other reasons, not reasons, there might be more problems in family life. The conflicts, yes, problems can also emphasize as conflicts. Mm, Mutual understanding conflicts. Sometimes you prefer this one and the other partner prefer that one. So there is a mutual conflict between those preferences. Hmm? So she likes this and he likes this. So there's a conflict, always a conflict. But you can reduce that conflict and live without problems. Sometimes you can pretend, though there are problems, you can pretend that there aren't any problems. Just think about this. She likes to eat ice cream and you like to eat curd. So you try to so you think you as a boy, so you try to enjoy ice cream as well in the same manner, but it's very difficult if you don't like ice cream. So you both of can enjoy the same thing. I'm not telling you to get the same choice of the other person is having. So it's quite a difficult thing. But sometimes sacrifications have to be done to maintain a good family relationship. So when problems arises, the partners may be questioning that, have you ever thought about me? Lots of problems when we think about problems of family life means problems, every time problems. Think about the person the two persons are visiting to a textile shop, and they are selecting their best clothes, and one is choosing to another, and the other person is choosing for the other person. So there might be some confusion and conflict in that as well. She's asking, is this beautiful for me? And you say, oh, I don't think this is beautiful for you. It's too big and your body is seen with this. It's so ugly. You can try out another one. Hmm? Then the other partner, the lady partner might be choosing you a beautiful sarong or a trouser or a shirt, and that might be beautiful on her perspective. But when you see that one, you might be thinking, why this lady always choosing me the bad items that's out of fashion? How would I be looked when I dress those clothes? Like a funny monkey or puppet wearing those clothes. So always confusion, problems, and conflicts within the relationship. Sometimes, when a person is not understood by the another person, their blaming arises. So one person may be saying that I was in a serious problem and I was thinking that you would come to me and ask what's the problem, and we both together discuss the problem and get the solutions. But imagine you are working out in an office and you come home and she might be in a big problem thinking herself, and as soon as he arrives I will get the opportunity to talk, and before I'm going to tell, he should be the person to ask, honey, how are you doing and what's going on in your mind? Do you have any problems to talk with me? Do you have anything to share with me? Sometimes he might go to have a shower, or sometimes he might ask a warm tea, a hot tea. So, without knowing, problems arise without the consciousness of people. So, the first thing, not to think much about the problem, but how to solve problems when they arise is far more important. But solving problems should be engaged with both parties. So imagine where there is a problem in your relationship, the only partner who is going to solve is wife or husband. Imagine those two parties are not going to solve the problem by themselves collectively. So the problem arises. Though the problem is solved, huh? Though the problem is solved, there's another problem because he is not going to come with me to solve this problem. That's another problem after solving problems. I wonder you understand this. Hmm? But this is an initial speech that I am giving to you to get a bit of motivation out of my speech, because speaking English is difficult. It's obvious. It's very difficult. But the content and the speaking way, the way of you speaking and use this language in a monotonous way is so important. But at the first stage of your speaking life, don't expect such a big dream to come true. Hmm? That's not obvious. Starting very difficult and making little progress day by day is the process. Hmm? You cannot reach to the top in one step. You have to follow so many steps gradually to reach the top. So speaking is a process. You cannot jump uh, in the process. You have to be processed within the process. That's the way of speaking. Imagine I have been trying to speak English for more than 15 years, and I'm still speaking some good English, but obviously I know I do lots of mistakes and I am having so many pauses while I'm speaking. Hmm? That's another one. That's another problem that everybody is maintaining, that though those people are making progress from so many years, in so many years, but the expected progress is never going to happen as someone wish. That's the main problem. That's also a problem. So moving to our topic is the problems in a relationship. The thing that we were talking about now, solving problems. When there's a problem, there should be the both parties, husband and wife, collaboratively, collectively, they should engage with the problem to solve it. Not letting only one partner to solve that problem by himself or herself. Though the problem is solved, there's another problem, that why didn't you come with me to solve this problem? So the next question is, what kind of house are we going to build if you're lucky enough to have sufficient amount of money? Two stories, three stories, or a single story house? So, as for my perspective, we are not going to live from nowward more than 50 years. Now I am 36 and not I'm thinking I will not live more than 40 years. 40 years would be much to live. So to live 40 years, I have lived 35, 36 years, and only I'm having half of years to live half of my life. Should I have that luxury life? That's my thinking. Some people might have their dreams and aspirations to achieve in their life, to have a dreamy house like a castle, to live like a king, and with a queen with lots of problems in the family life, though there aren't ministers in the palace you are living. So while the house is being built by someone during the time, a series of problems you have to face with. The mason buses are not going to work properly, and the price of the materials are really high, so the work is not moving forward smoothly as you wish, and it takes a lot of time the house to be built up. So every time you are having problems, so you have to put a supervisor, or you have to hand it over to a construction company to get it to the relevant date. And obviously you have to throw lots of money for them as well if you don't engage with that particular building project. So building a house is another problem, because what kind of a house, how the tiles are mm, how the tiles are used, and what kind of tiles we're gonna use, and how the walls are going to be painted, and how the ceilings might look like, and the garden and the veranda and the furniture and the electrical appliances and the kitchen utensils. How is the side of the house, first side, and the background of the garden and the wall around the garden? And do we have a fantastic pool? Not pool, fantastic pool in the garden. So lots of bushy flower plants. Do we have? Do we want to have? So every time where there is a choice, a selection, and alternatives, it's obvious that problem arises, and many problems arise. So in this speech, we can assume the entire life is dealing with problems. We cannot get rid of problems because we are moving forward, because we have a dream to be achieved. We see the lifestyles of other people. Sometimes you don't like to eat fast food, though it tastes great, but after you have to use toilet for a couple of days or couple of times in the same day. So once you have got that experience of eating out and realizing those are junk, but your significant other is really interested in eating those junk food, fast food, called fried rice, cheeseburgers, and so on. And there's initial conflict between you two. You might be saying, those are junk. I don't like to eat. Why do you like to eat those junk? It's better to cook at home. So the prepare food at home. The food which is cooked at home are so delicious and so healthy, you might be saying. And the other person might be saying, who's gonna work? Hmm? Are you going to help me all the time to prepare all this? While I am preparing, I am free from the preference of eating food. I don't have any taste. The food that I am preparing, though they are really tasteful for you, really tasty for you. Problems. So you have to bring fast food, and or you have to eat out, or the other person has to uh, avoid and has to get rid of his desire. That's quite obvious. Sometimes the boy and the girl might like to do a job. As for the culture of Sri Lanka, men is obviously working. Sometimes the lady also working. If the two partners are working, they are earning money and they are doing their passion and they try to live with their passion, doing the work that they really desire to do. Sometimes she likes to make modeling and sometimes she likes to uh, do marketing and she likes to be an accountant or a doctor or a teacher or you and you like to be an accountant or engineer or a lawyer to be a businessman. So both of you engage in various occupations. Perhaps that's not professional or professional. That might that might not be the problem. That might be a problem in later. Okay, so the husband might be saying that I'm earning sufficient amount of money or I'm not earning sufficient amount of money now, but I hope to earn in the future. The process says we can earn much money in the future. So our life for now, and if you think about the future, is secure. The amount of money is enough for both of us. So I want you to stay at home and to do household chores or or stay calm, stay happy, enjoy your life without working or without getting too much burden. Sometimes the other partner may be thinking her comfort. Okay, honey, we have money. Don't go for work. Working outside is really horrible. It's a busy life, and working is not life. Staying at home and enjoying the food that you are cooking and watering the flower plants and planting flower plants and make a round around the garden and talking with your neighbors and sometimes with your mother or father, brothers and sisters, and sometimes you can do many things, honey. So you stay at home. The other partner might be thinking, oh, this man is earning money. Should I be his servant to get his money all the time? I'm not going to be a servant of him anymore. I have the power to do a job and I want to show him that I also have a power to earn money and I don't want your money. You should think in this relationship, money is not important. You are not superior though you earn money. Hmm? I also can. I will prove it. So the both of them might be working. They are out for offices or wherever they are working, and they return home with lots of tiredness and unhappiness. And who is going to share the family life? So both of them are very tired at home, and who's gonna cook? Who's gonna make uh, a cup of tea? Huh? Tea for both of them. Hmm? So then problems arise again. I'm so tired. I am also so tired. So why don't you go and make tea? Yesterday I made tea. So today is your opportunity. Mhm. So living a life in a family relationship is not too easy as you think. So this is a bit of giving an advice. No, advice is not needed. Only experience in our life teach us in the direction that what kind of life that you are experiencing and what kind of life that you have been thinking that might be a dreamy one. So I'm going to give you an example, but I wonder if you understand this. Just think that you never have eaten a food like, we will give a random name, puava. Okay, not guava, puava. We have never eaten. So once you have eaten that puava fruit, so you know the shape of it, the color of it, the taste of it, the smell of it, and the nutrients of it, and what would happen after eating it, and the desire with that one, and the price of it. You know almost everything with that fruit puava. So, though you describe to someone else who have never eaten guava even a single time or have never seen, can he get that experience? Huh? That's never happens. So the people who are not in a family relationship now, it's like they have never heard or eaten, smelled, or experienced the fruit of guava. So once you eat the fruit of guava, you can tell yes. For the people you have the for the people who have already eaten guava, yes, this is a kind of this fruit, huh? With those people, and you cannot talk with the people you that they haven't eaten guava. Okay, so it's merely a waste of time to teach and to talk to people who have not in a relationship, in the present relationship. Sometimes kids, school children, university children, and so on, so on. So you have to jump into the river to enjoy the coolness and the calmness and the tiredness and the boringness and the beauty and the craziness of the river you can experience. But building a relationship means not to break it. As for me, sometimes you might be undergoing some serious problems, effects from your significant other. So you are thinking this life is not for me, this relationship is not for us, this relationship ruins me. So that's quite obvious. You should take a decision to live on yourself rather than fighting and complaining and living aside, ignoring lots of problems in that family life. So we should come into a good understanding. There are problems, but we should not cause any mental or physical harm. It's quite obvious. Sometimes you may hit, and sometimes you may be a demon and trying to force with him or her with words. That's normal. That's not a big deal. That's not a super spiritual. Everywhere that can be seen. If that can be seen, that's a life living in heaven. So this is not heaven, obviously. This is a life with lots of problems, confusion, desires, burnings, and lots of distractions, selfishness, and conflicts, self centered activities. Obviously, this is not the heaven, so those problems are normal. So, if you understand your partner at least a 10%, if you can stay calm, where your mind says you should be aggressive, okay? And you should be talkative where your mind says you should be quiet to get the revenge from your significant other. That's the only tool that you can use to get revenge from him, just not to talk. Keep quiet because he cannot bear the silence at this point. I know about him very well. That's how you can get the revenge of your significant partner, your lover. So you keep quiet. You are in your room and you are cooking food for yourself and you are neglecting your significant other. So that's not going to be a life. That's not going to be a good family relationship. It doesn't matter if it continues only for 2 or 3 times, but if this continues continuously for 3 or 4 or 5 6 years or entire life, that's not the sort of life in this planet. That kind of life is belong to hell, not in this society as we are living as humans. That's kind of a hell life. So, as a good partner, you should give some space, sufficient space to your partner to grow up. Though she or he has many problems, you should give time hmm, to think about those problems, and you slowly should show those are the problems, honey, I have identified, and this is really hurting me a lot, and I am not feeling like living. So, honey, can you please think that this is a problem that I am observing. So can you please think of that problem quietly? I'm not forcing you to get rid of that problem immediately. You can go to like that self-talk. But the problem is we people are so aggressive. Today I saw a YouTube video that recommended me a boy is hitting to his girl in front of public, and he is carrying and dragging that girl from far away and kicking around her body. You might have seen that video if you are a consistent partner of YouTube, consistent viewer of YouTube. So the people where they are around, the people who were around the scene gathered together and tried to force that boy. And they have seen the wrong side of the boy, and they felt pity on that girl, and a policeman also called to that place that saw pity, and the girl was motionless, and she was unconscious for uh, for some seconds, and some people gave him some water as well, and the boy is pretending and stroking her head, honey, have I done something wrong to you? I'm really sorry. I haven't done you anything. Hmm? Likewise. So problems in family relationship should not go further. You can talk because you do everything. You work, you love, you sex, you do everything to please her or him. So that's your life. That's both of your life. So that's up to you. Hmm? Hmm. In this way, I'm thinking that I have continued talking for about 20 minutes or 30 minutes. I don't know. Just a break to have a sip of water. You might not think that I can speak for many hours. If I have water, and if I don't feel tired for my standing legs, and I can talk because I have the words, and I have the flow, and I have some practice, and that I have been using, and it's continuing to future as well. But the the real thing that I am thinking is I don't want to be a particular person out in the society I see. I strive harder day by day, and I try to do my best. Uh, while I'm not thinking to be a particular person. So I encourage you all to be you, be yourself. Don't try to imitate someone else. Don't try to make the speech as I'm giving. So you can try your own. You can create your own life. You can have your own vibe. You can have your own house, car, garden, etc., etc. So you can have your own speech journey. So my advice here, now here, I'm going to give you an advice, some advice, not an advice, that's a mistake. Advice is uncountable, so you cannot use an or er. Some advice. So I'm going to give you some advice. Try to start building sentences gradually, as I'm doing in my online classes, and try to speak them, not looking at the paper or the book. You are building sentences of your own. Sometimes you may be translating and you get the idea, and you are writing those sentences of your own. And without writing, the next step is without writing those sentences, you can speak them. That might get immense amount of time. So there might be some pauses, there might be some gaps between from one word to another word, a significant gap, but who cares? That's your gap. Don't think of what other people think about you. I'm not thinking, just I want to give you an emphasis and a motivation. This is a way of speaking because I randomly see the teachers, the YouTube teachers in Sri Lanka, they are talking live without cut and edit. So my ambition is something different in this stage because I want to give the real picture behind this speaking scenario. Sometimes we use the words that we really don't know, but in context we have heard those words and we use them. That's usual. So speaking is really enjoyable because sometimes you use the words that you really don't know, but you know that's correct according to the context you are using the situation. That's real interesting. And sometimes you are advised to watch movies, but I don't recommend. It's a waste of time. Hmm. By watching a movie, you hardly grab some sentences for a couple of words. So spending 1 hour or 2 hours and grabbing only two or three or few words or one sentence pattern or the other is not enough because we are in a race, mm, parallelly going with the time frame. We have limited time frame, so we have to achieve so many things with this limited amount of time. So you have to use smart ways. My first advice is take uh, a good book which covers almost every aspect of English. Yes, one book can cover every aspect of English. Remember, I'm saying today, one good book which has approximately more than 350 pages. That's a fantastic book. Huh? And it's a university of education, a language, reading books and building sentences. It's obviously you see in my YouTube channel, building sentences, sentences building, and building sentences, and again, sentences building. When I'm clarifying some specific grammar rules, I'm not going to teach that alone to understand, but after understanding, you should be in a position to create those sentences of your own with the natural flow and with all the grammatical rules containing in that single or a couple of sentences that you are making. So back to the topic, problems in the relationship. Before getting married, you have your family, your father, mother, brother, and sisters, and friends. Before she gets married, she also have her mother, father, brothers, and sisters, and friends, and um, and so on, so on. So when those two partners get into a relationship and got married, what happens to both parties? So both of them have to visit both of their fathers and mothers, both of their sisters and brothers, both of their relatives, both of their friends. Will it not be a problem? Imagine the problem between mother-in-law and your wife, between your mother and your wife. Hmm? That's obvious. That happens all the time at every home. Sometimes you may say, at our home, it isn't. So this is a heaven. This might be heaven. So it's obvious this is planet Earth. We are human beings. So that's a fact between your mother and your wife. Rising problems is a fact. It's not an idea. You can deny it. Hmm? So always arise problems. So thinking, yes, this is a problem. What should I do? What can I do? If I avoid that situation, no problem arises. Okay. So I'm not going to visit your mother, your brothers, your sisters, your friends because they know about you and they don't know about me. And I am really difficult and I feel really difficult to get connected with them because they might not feel I am as their partners as some voice, some bad noise interrupting the conversation. That's also a problem here I'm having. This is just for a couple of days because I'm here at my mother and father's home because my mother is ill these days. She has been sick for a couple of days, or not couple, she has been ill for a month. So I came here uh, um, a week and a half, ago. So I'm here. So lots of some noise, not lots of noise, some noise going around, and I beg your pardon for that. Yes, in that relationship. So if you can't and if you don't have the ability to engage with those kinds of people smoothly, or those people don't have the ability, though they live longer than you, those people also don't have the ability to live with you. So mutual conflicts, not mutual good relationship, mutual conflicts arise. hmm? Then who's gonna solve? Think your wife is blaming your mother is ill-treating me. Your brother don't look at me. And he gave me a side eye. Likewise, so many problems. That you are the only person, you are the policeman to solve those problems. So you have to get an initial attack or conversation, harsh conversation, or sometimes a friendly conversation. Please don't make her angry or feel sad. She is mine. Lots of talks are going around. So, thinking about this, living a family life and building a good relationship seems very, very difficult. Don't you feel? It's really difficult. So every one of us should avoid from relationship. No, there is a great beauty of relationship when the two partners are working together. If one person is sacrificing his time, effort for the comfort of the other person, imagine some of your clothes are washed by your wife There's a pleasant connection, combination, and a mental feeling towards your wife, not just because the worship, because just because she thinks about me. Hmm? That's the power. Hmm? You think there is someone in this world with me. That's a treasure that I am having. The only person that I can speak openly is my partner. If I don't have my partner, I cannot be open by myself because people out in the society, though they are my parents and my brothers and sisters and sometimes friends, they are bias basis. They are not thinking about the problem and thinking only about me. Hmm? Your partner is thinking only about you. When you are sick, your partner might say, don't get out of the bed. I will do whatever I can. I will get a leave and I will take you to the hospital, or I will comfort you. I will be beside your bed. That's a good relationship. If you have that kind of relationship, though there are many problems, even though if you are not in a relationship, you are living alone, you think that you don't have problems. You have so many problems. If you don't have a relationship, if you don't have married life, you have to drink alcohol and you have to travel various places for other people. Hmm? You may get addicted to certain drugs and you may be surfing and you have to work all the day and your life is really boring and you're scared to live alone and you're thinking what would happen if I get sick? Is there a person to give me a single drop of water? Mhm. That kind of thinking is going on. So if you are thinking now, if you are not in a relationship, I tell you a relationship is good, but no acting, no acting before the marriage, no acting. That's so reasonable. Many people are acting to be a better one. Don't show off to be a better one because your nature is the real nature of you. Hmm? Don't go to see a better person out of your character or better personality. So you have time to for your partner. Don't show the things that you don't have. If you show the real things to your partner, if the partner is acceptable with those behaviors, hmm, so that relationship would be everlasting with little conflicts because she already knows or he already knows the real you, not the actor of you, the real you. Sometimes you may smoke, sometimes you surf on internet or use Facebook much time. So don't try to make to show a better picture. I'm not using phones. I'm doing household chores, household work. I'm busy with cooking. I'm cleaning. I'm doing the dishes, and I do everything. Hmm? See the picture of me. I'm doing everything. Hmm? But when you get married, you are in the bed comfortably with crossed legs and surfing internet and neglecting the other works. So problems get to be worse. That's the main part. That's the problem which gives from the acting part. So don't be an actor or actresses before your marriage. So play your real role. Hmm? Play your real you. So the other partner would get the real understanding of you. So little conflict might arise in your relationship. Hmm? Then the other problems. This conversation might be really interesting if the two parties are engaged with me. So this is really an initial self-talk, though I'm speaking to my audience, my YouTube viewers. I'm reaching my YouTube viewers to 40,000, and I think 4,000 uh, subscribers less to be uh, 4,000 subscribers. That's a real achievement. I'm talking to my subscribers and my viewers. That's a real issue. And think of your mother or your father gets seriously ill, and you got married and you have children and you have jobs, and your husband also have jobs, and you are having with lots of busy schedules, and instantly your mother got ill and she cannot move out of her bed. So only you have father, sometimes father might be dead. Hmm. If I ask mother to come our place, she refuses. She refuses. She don't feel comfortable in any other places. So she tells, I will manage. I will at my home. So what kind of life that you are having? You have a separate family life, and you have the sole responsibility holder of that family life with the other partner. So can you break that relationship and come into that place to show the gratitude and to show the your real inner feeling to your mother or father, to that sick person? Hmm? That's a kind of tricky problem that everyone has to face their life. So there should be a initial understanding between those every party engaged with that one. So when you engage with a relationship, it's very difficult to pay visit to a relevant place where there your mothers are living. If one person can, with the consent of both parts, that's too fantastic and that's too great. But how can we find a person like that, a partner like that? If you are in a position that if your parent is sick, you can pay a visit and you can go to that home and stay and continue your job. If it is possible, it's really impossible with this type of life. It is possible, that's super great. And if you do that thing to your same parents, you should be in a position to do the same for your wives or husbands, parents as well. So if you don't do, and if you don't have that kind of feeling, lots of conflicts, confusion, misunderstanding, problems, even fight that leads to death might arise. So that's really huge. You cannot live along with both of you neglecting all other people in the society. How a life that people have after school life. We are thinking that school life is dangerous, while we are not dangerous. School life is really difficult and challenging. When you are living a family life and you are thinking, what a golden days I had when I was a kid at school. Can I get that one? And I love that feeling a lot. Though you love, you cannot hold it because you have experienced it and you have passed it. And you are now in the very present with lots of problems with you. Not only lots of problems that you are having with the bundle of problems that your significant other is having as well. So two bundles of problems connected together with the so-called term married life. So if a person is skilled enough to manage this one beautifully, building connections and earning things, building houses and buying vehicles and appliances, making gardens, hmm, and paying visits and traveling and enjoying the life, eating out, cooking at home, partnership. Partnership. Two partners in a good relationship is a partnership. So if you break in a certain point, the partnership is broken. So there are only individuals act separately where there is the partnership is broken. So whether it's a tiny broken or big broken or unbearable broken, it's a broken of the partnership. If the partnership is broken by any factor, the two persons are acting individually. It's obvious. They are working individually, performing individually, though they are mind saying, I'm being a partner still. That's a kind of life is taking revenges from that partner. You are holding past memories and being bullied or various distractions and neglections and so many and so on, so on, and so many things. And you are keeping in your mind, and your mind is boiling with those problems with your partner. And when and every time there isn't a pleasurable moments, those problems strikes you with bow and arrow on the head. Huh? So you cannot move. You are absorbed with those lots of problems as past memories, and those past memories are into action now. So it's really difficult to get rid of all that. So there is a meditation called live in the present moment so you never have any problems. But who gonna live in the present moment? We have carried our past to the present, and from the past and from the present, I'm going to call my future. So who gonna in this society stay present? Hmm? It's a joke. It's a silly joke if we talk about stay present with this type of society. If a person can, yes, there is less problems and a nice relationship. So, yes, there are many souls with this speech. That's a problem that I am having while I'm doing my presentation or my talk. I add so many pillars. Mhm. You have heard about pillars, not filler words, gap words. So, yes, again, I use so. That's a habit. I think I cannot get rid of that. Back to the topic. Problems in a relationship. When does this end? Does this end with your end, with your death, or with your death of the other partner? No. This only ends with your death because you are keeping every precious, though it's painful or pleasurable in your mind as past memories, and until you die those past memories are into action and make you happy and make you sad and make you terribly awful and you make terribly serious, and aggressive, sometimes very violent. The being violent is the real nature of human beings. So in the first stage, our family life, we were talking that the first thing first is money, earning sufficient amount of money, but think money is not the real life because the people who have lots of money, having castles of houses, having ships of vehicles, yet they have not been in a position to enjoy their life as they wish in a relationship or as individually. So this life is nothing to do with the great deal of money. It's quite obvious you need sufficient amount of money to have a better life. If I am saying now money is not important, love is important, relationship is important, the time that you are giving to your partner is far more important than money. It's a bullshit talk. That's not a fact. That's not even an idea. It's the most important thing in the first stage. And not acceptance of the other person's aspirations and desires brings the other problems. And when that person thinks mentally, this person is not engaging and he is not thinking about me, he is only thinking about his job, his friends, his family members, and neglecting me, that's another problem. When you're trying to live by yourself, a solitary life by both of you without having your friends, both of your friends, family members, mother and father, brothers and sisters, and so on. That's a life living in a desert or in a forest, in a monastery. If you want, that's okay, that's acceptable, but that's not the kind of life. Someone or not someone, the both of them should be in a position to be a clear communicator with all those parties. You might not have great deal of money, great deal of time to spend with them, and once in a blue moon, you can pay visits, and they would be happy, and you also can be happy with those uh, hardly paying visits. Yes, and everywhere is problem. We were talking that the end of problem is the end of you. When you end, problems end. And if you don't end, you have problems you have to tackle with this, with those. You have to deal with them beautifully with your partner, thinking you are not alone. You cannot take the decisions thinking only about you. The decisions should be realistic and accurate and reasonable and responsible for both of them. You cannot think only about yourself in a relationship. You cannot schedule the place where you like to visit of your own. You have to ask your partner what's your favorite destination to visit, what kind of place that you would like to travel during these holidays, or so on and so on. What kind of food do you like to eat? Do you really fancy to eat at home or eat at out? It's a genuine question that you can ask. So the burning problems may disappear very quickly. Talk, not harsh words, but talk and continue a genuine, soft conversation. When there's a harsh conversation and battling with words, it's better to stay quiet. And the situation is very quiet. And if you continue with that same quietness, it's another battle. So the word battle can be ended with the silent sword. And where there is silence, that silence can be harvested with wonderful, lovely words. So initial relationship would be in progress. The relationship between those two parties would be in a continuous progress. Only those two parties engaging properly, actively, without passive participation. You cannot transfer that responsibility to a particular person. You have to get your part, and the other person has to get his or her part. That's the mutual relationship and understanding, as and that is a beautiful combination of a married life. Mm. And yeah, I invite all of you to have a wonderful life with your significant other, with your partner. There are so many beauties in a married life. Enjoy that. Face the problems not with fear, not with revenge, and not with any of things. Be patient and be a lovely person and be talkative where their words are needed, and be silent where there aren't any word is needed, and be a person who can feel the love with the color of love. So it would be the real solution to every problem. But the first thing, money. You have to earn sufficient amount of money. Then then your creativity does everything. I think I was doing my conversation, my speech for an hour, or at least for an hour, and I am really enjoying up to now. I am not having any boring, any tiredness, and I am in my enthusiasm as a beginning. I don't know. I'm feeling like that. You can recommend. Hmm, this is pretty nice speaking English. And I invite all of you to be a partner with my courses as well, because in that courses I am teaching you how to build any sentence of your own. I have clear structures and processes, procedures that I can make you move forward with built-in sentences. That means any sentence, though the sentence is very small and though the sentence is going to be very bigger, just like to this boat, I'm in a position to teach you. And if you are really interested in my learning, I'm not conducting spoken sessions, though sentence building leads to a pure and interesting speaking. And I encourage and I invite all of you to be a participant in those courses, because I always try to make your journey more valuable, more quick, and more accurate with my teaching. And I'm thinking that's enough for today's talk. And from today's talk, as I mentioned earlier, I want to give the emphasis, the real need of speaking, and the same time, the motivation I want to give you. I want to give you the motivation speaking this language. You can speak like you, and you don't want to speak like me or someone. Don't try to follow someone. Try to follow your dreams. Try to follow your desires. Becoming. And remember, every becoming is engaged with so many problems you have to solve smoothly and very cleverly. It's a fact. And finally, I would be really grateful for the viewers who have been listening to this conversation, this talk. And I wonder if anyone who is listening till the end, if a person has been listening till the end, put a comment in the comment section. Sir, I have been listening the entire speech. Hmm? This is the end of my speech. So thank you very much for being my YouTube consistent viewers. And thank you very much. I am Chamara Prabhat.